So today I thought instead of reading a quote on chanting, let me clarify why we chant the Hare Krishna mantra. Because somebody was asking me about Vishnu Sahasranam. It's very popular in India, especially in South India. It's very popular, no, chanting the 1008 names of Vishnu. So yes, of course, Vishnu Sahasranam is very, very auspicious to chant. But there are some Shastric quotes which I want to share with you. So we'll not go for the Sanskrit because of the time factor. But there is this quote from the Brihad Vishnu Sahasranama Stotra, which says, this is spoken by Lord Shiva to Parvati. And Lord Shiva tells his wife Durga, O Varnana, I chant the holy name of Rama, 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 and thus constantly enjoy this beautiful sound. This holy name of Ramachandra is equal to 1000 holy names of Lord Vishnu. So Lord Shiva is saying that he chants the name of Lord Ram because this name of Lord Ram is equal to 1000 names of Lord Vishnu. Okay. Then there is another quote from the Padma Purana which says, each name of Lord Vishnu is greater and more potent than the entire Vedas combined together, and Lord Rama's name alone is more superior than 1000 names of Lord Vishnu. So all the Vedas combined together is equal to the 1008 names of Lord Vishnu, and one name of Lord Ram is equal to the 1008 names of Vishnu. Now let's see further text from the Brahmanda Purana. It says, the pious results achieved by chanting the 1000 names of Vishnu 3 times or the holy name of Ram thrice can be attained by only one utterance of the holy name of Krishna. So one name of Krishna is equal to 3 names of Lord Ram. So what's the calculation? All the Vedas combined together is equal to the Vishnu Sahasranam or 1000 names of Vishnu or 1008 names of Vishnu. One name of Lord Ram is equal to the 1008 names of Vishnu. And one name of Krishna is equal to 3 names of Lord Ram. So therefore, this is another quote from the Padma Purana which says, O Arjuna, the holy name of Krishna is the most principal, Mukhyataram, among all names of God. One can atone for unlimited sinful deeds by chanting the name of Krishna, which is the supreme destroyer of all sins. So see, here is the conclusion. Vishnu's name is the principal name of God and more than all the Vedas combined together. Ram's name is more principal name. So it is Mukhya of principal name of God, or it's the Mukhya name of God, which is equal to the 1000 names of Vishnu. And Krishna's name is the most principal name, or Mukhya Taram. So 3000 Ram is equal to 3000 names of Vishnu. And this is the reason why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has especially recommended the chanting of this Hare Krishna mantra for Kali Yuga. Because we have less time. In Kali Yuga, the duration, human duration is the least compared to all other yugas. And because we don't have so much time, we have to use that which will put a lot in one name. And so many names of God are put together in that one Hare Krishna mantra. This is the reason why, yes, of course, Vishnu Sahasranam, with a lot of respect, we say that they are the principal names of God, no doubt. But this Hare Krishna mantra is like the mantra on steroids, we can say. It's the Maha mantra. It packs a lot in one mantra itself. And this is the reason why it is especially recommended for Kali Yuga. Okay. So let's offer our respects to Srila Prabhupada before we begin today's session.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Sansar Baba
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, so what did we see in the previous class?
We talked about Raga, Bhaya, and Krodha, and how they're mentioned twice, once in chapter 4 and once in chapter 2, and how they're mentioned in relation to attaining transcendental love and achieving, I believe, a steady state of mind.
Very nice, Disha. Thank you. What else did we see? Okay, so we saw 4.9. This actually verse is probably one of the most quoted verses in ISKCON. You will hear the speakers quoting this verse very often in their lectures. Even Srila Prabhupada, when he gave classes, when he gave lectures, he would quote this verse, Janma Karma Chame Divyam. How the Lord, his activities, his appearance are all transcendental. So this is one of the most quoted verses of the Bhagavad Gita. And then Raga, Bhaya, and Krodha, as Disha said, how it's repeated twice. And then we saw how Krishna, he says that he reciprocates to everyone depending on one's level of surrender. So it's not that he's playing favorites. It's just that different people get rewarded according to their level of surrender. If somebody approaches the Lord 10%, then to that extent, the Lord will reciprocate. If somebody approaches him 100%, then the Lord also will reciprocate 100%. So this is also a very, very important verse to understand. And then we saw how Krishna says, Krishna explains the reason why one worships the demigods, because if Krishna is reciprocating to everyone, why do people worship demigods? So Krishna says that people worship demigods because they want quick results. And we saw how when Vishnu Tattva or Krishna, they grant a benediction, they first purify the heart of the devotee before giving the benediction. But in the case of demigods, that purification does not take place. And therefore, the benedictions by the demigods is faster, it's quicker. But because the demigods are not eternal, therefore the benedictions of the demigods also are not eternal. But when Krishna or Vishnu gives you a benediction, then even a material benediction can be eternal. In the case of Dhruva, his desire was, I want a kingdom greater than that of even Lord Brahma, greater than that of my great grandfather. And Lord Vishnu gave him the Dhruva Loka, the pole star, right? So he gave him a planet for himself. And this Dhruva Loka is most unique because it is a spiritual planet in the material world. It's the only spiritual planet in the material realm, which will not be destroyed when everything else in the 14 planetary systems will be destroyed. Okay, so we have to start with 4.13 today. Please repeat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Om Namo Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Okay, so who would volunteer? Who would like to volunteer to read today?
Vasudevaya.
Anybody would like to volunteer to read?
I can read the translations.
Okay, thank you, Disha. And for the other text?
I could read the other text.
Okay, thank you. So let's read this.
चातुर्वर्ण्यं मया सृष्टं गुणकर्म विभागशः तस्य कर्तारमपि मां विद्य कर्तारमव्ययम्.
According to the three modes of material nature and the work associated with them, the four divisions of human society are created by me. And although I am the creator of the system, you should know that I am yet the non-doer, being unchangeable.
So see here, Krishna is saying that he has created a system. What is the system that he has created? He has created the Varnashram system. He says Chatur Varnyam. So he has created this Varnashram system. What is this Varnashram system? Is the division of the society based on what? He's saying that he has divided this based on guna and karma, based on the work associated and with the material nature. So guna and karma. So depending on the nature that one person has and depending on the kind of work that person engages in, based on this, he has created the Varnashram system. As we have discussed before, Varnashram is a division of society into 4 Varnas and 4 Ashramas. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. And what are the 4 Ashramas? Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyas. So we have to observe here that he is not saying that this division is based on birth. It has not got to do with the so-called caste system that exists in India, right? Where somebody is seen as a lower caste, untouchable, and somebody is seen as a higher caste. There is no caste system based on birth. The division is only based on guna and karma, on the nature and the work of the human beings. He has not created a distinction where somebody has to be looked down upon or disrespected and somebody should be respected even more. So this is very, very important because this Varnashram system is a scientific system. It's not like the modern or the current caste system that is existing in India. And then next, what he says that although I am the creator of the system, although I have created the system, you should know that I am the non-doer. I am not the one who's forcing the living entities to do the work in this system. He is completely aloof. So we'll see that in detail now. See here, first, let's try to analyze the 4 Varnas. The Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. The Brahmanas are the priests, the teachers, and the intellectuals. Now we know that there are 3 modes, right? Mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. The Brahmanas are the mode of goodness, and they receive donations. Then the Kshatriyas, they are the administrators of the society. We need somebody who's going to protect the people at a physical level. But the Kshatriyas don't only protect the people at the physical level, they also protect them at a spiritual level because they are responsible to create the kind of atmosphere where everybody in their kingdom will be able to follow spiritual life without any restrictions or without any inconveniences. So Kshatriyas are the warriors, police, and administrators. They are in the mode of passion and they levy taxes. So the Brahmanas receive donations, the Kshatriyas levy taxes. Vaishyas are the business class, the farmers, the merchants, they take care of the cows, they take care of the land, and they are in the mixed modes of passion and ignorance. And they are the only ones in the 4 Varnas who create their own wealth. They create their own wealth. They are not depending on somebody else for their wealth. And the Shudras, they are the workers, they are the working class, they are in the mode of ignorance and they receive salary. So it's the Vaishyas, the Kshatriyas, when they impose taxes, which of the 4 Varnas are paying taxes to the Kshatriyas?
The Vaishnavas?
The Vaishyas, yes, the Brahmanas and the Shudras, they don't pay taxes. So the Vaishyas, they pay taxes to the Kshatriyas. So this is the 4 Varnas, under the Varnashram system. Now there is to understand this, we use the analogy of a social body. So the Brahmins are compared to the head of the society. The Kshatriyas are the arms of the society. The Vaishyas are the stomach and the Shudras are the legs. Now, when somebody is taking care of their health, of their body, will they say that I will take less care of my legs and I will take more care of my head or arms. No, we want as much strength in our legs as we want in our head or in our arms. So we take care of our entire body. In the same way, the Shudras are as important in the social body as are the Brahmins. All four are given respect. It's not that the Brahmanas are disrespecting the Shudras. That's not the system that Krishna created. All of them are equally required for the smooth functioning of the society. And if every Varna does their duties to perfection, then the requirements of all other Varnas are automatically met. If a Shudra does his duty, then the requirements of Vaishya, Kshatriya, and Brahman are met. If the Brahman does his duty, then Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, their requirements are automatically met. So this is the Varnashram system. The Brahmanas, they provide knowledge because they teach. Kshatriyas provide power. Vaishyas, they provide the wealth because they are the ones who are moving the products in the society, right? So they are compared to the stomach. The stomach receives the food and then sends the nutrition to all parts of the body. And the Shudra, they provide the energy because they are doing the labor work. So therefore, they are providing the energy, they are providing services to all other three Varnas. So they are compared to the legs. This is the Varnashram system that Krishna has created. What are the four ashrama stages of life? Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. So as we discussed previously, the average human life at the beginning of Kali Yuga was 100 years. So there was this division. First 25 years of your life, you dedicate to student life. Then the next 25 years are dedicated to Grihastha life or married life. Next, after that 25 years, Vanaprastha, and last 25 years, Sannyas. So if we think that right now, currently, after 5,000 years in Kali Yuga, the average human life has reduced to say 80 years, then we have to see, I have to leave 20 years for my student life, 20 years for my Grihastha life. Then after that, 20 years, I should be retiring. I should start to retire. And sannyas is the last 20 years. So what is brahmachari is the student life. What they follow here, self-restraint, study, and guru seva. These are the duties. Married life, householder duties, service to other three orders. So it's only the grihasthas who have to support the brahmacharis, vanaprastha, and the sannyasis. That's why it's recommended that a grihastha should always give donations, right? Because a brahmachari, he is not working, he's a student. Vanaprastha is retired, he is not working, and a sannyasi is a renunciant, he is also not working. So the sannyasi goes begging door to door and he asks for food. You may have seen that in movies also. So the only ashram here who is working are the grihasthas, and therefore it's important that they make donation time to time because the other three ashramas are depending on the grihasthas. So what is vanaprastha is the retired life. One has to start preparing to hand over the responsibility to the next generation and start focusing on spirituality. And sannyas is completely renounced, completely disconnected from material activities and complete focus, complete dedication only to spirituality. These are the four ashramas or stages of life. Okay, let's read this.
The Varnashrama system divides the society according to four occupational duties and four orders of life. The purpose of the Varnashrama social system is to provide a structure which allows people to work according to their natural tendencies and to organize societies so that everyone, regardless of their position, makes spiritual advancement. People work with the cooperative spirit.
Next.
The Varnashrama system The Varnashrama system recognizes the natural talents and abilities of each person and provides work according to a person's qualities. There are four qualities of work. The Brahmana are the intellectuals and the priestly class. The Kshatriya are the government, the military, and the administrative classes. The Vaishyas are farmers and businessmen, and the Shudras are workers. There are also four spiritual divisions: Brahmachari, student life, Grihastha married life, Vanaprastha retired life, and Sannyasa renounced life. If this system is properly implemented under the direction of qualified Brahmanas, the result will be peace and prosperity throughout the world. The Varnashrama system also recognizes there are many different of people who may not be spiritually inclined. The division of society is in such a way that everyone is serving God simply by performing their occupational duties. As the entire society is arranged to please God, everyone works within the society also pleases God.
See, here we have very major points to understand. The Varnashram system recognizes that there are different types of people who may not be spiritually inclined. So, out of the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, who is most inclined to spirituality?
Brahmins.
The Brahmins, yeah, the Brahmins are the most inclined. Therefore, what is the service what is the work that is allotted to Brahmanas? The work is that they have to teach the society the principles of spirituality and, of course, even other subject matters. And what is the facility that is given to the Brahmanas? The facility given to them is that they don't have to go to work. People will give them donations. Money will come to them. So they don't have to they don't have to worry about earning money to make a living. They receive donations, and not that because they are receiving donations they are treated like beggars. No, they are treated with utmost respect because they are the ones who are imparting knowledge. So they are given the facility of not having to work, given the respect and receive donations. Why? Because they are most spiritually inclined and they have the responsibility of imparting this knowledge to the others. Now, who is the least spiritually inclined?
Shudras.
The Shudras are the least spiritually inclined, so therefore they receive a salary. They cannot teach. It's not in their nature, right? It's not in their nature. Therefore, they just do the work within the Varnashram system. They just receive orders. They cannot make their own money because it's not in their nature. Therefore, take a job, just work, just take the instruction and work according to the instruction. But and still, because they are working under the Varnashram system, they please the Lord. Why is the Lord pleased? Because He is the one who has created this Varnashram system. So when one does his duty within the Varnashram system, automatically he is pleasing the Lord, although he may not be spiritually inclined. So in this Varnashram system, in this scientific system, although one is may have some material desires, because he's working in the varnashram system, what happens? He is being purified, and at the same time his material desires also are being fulfilled. For example, in the grihastha ashram, if one has the desire to unite with a person, with another person, then okay, then you accept the grihastha ashram, but then you get the facility to enjoy with a member of the opposite sex. Here, where is it? Yeah. Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas. Only the Grihasthas are allowed to have a partner, right? So, okay, that facility is given to one if he has the desire. So take up the Grihastha ashram, but along with that comes the responsibility that you have to be able to take care of your family. If you're a woman, you have to take care of your husband and children. If you're a man, then you have to take care of all the financial requirements of your family members. So the facility is there, but there is also a responsibility which comes with it. So in this varnashram system, one's material desires are also fulfilled. At the same time, there is purification. At that same time, the Lord is also satisfied. This is the system that Krishna has created. Let's read the last paragraph.
The acharyas who advocate the Daiva Varnashrama, the social orders of Chaturvarnyam mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, do not accept the position of Asura Varnashrama, which maintains that the social order of Varna is indicated by birth.
Okay, so what is this Asura Varnashram? Asura Varnashram is that when the social order is indicated by birth. So just because if somebody is born in a Brahmin family and he's expected to, he's respected as a Brahmin just because he's born in a Brahmin family, but his activities are not Brahminic. let's say somebody is born in a Brahmin family, but his activities, he's taken to meat eating, intoxication, gambling, etc. So he's not a Brahmin by his activities, he's only a Brahmin by birth. On the other hand, if somebody is born in a Shudra family, but he is showing Brahminical qualities, he is very, very spiritually advanced, and he's following a high spiritual principles, then that doesn't mean that he should continue to be treated as a Shudra. So this system is not based on birth. If it is based on birth, it is called as Asura Varnash. Asur means what? What is Asur? Asur means demon, demoniac. So that is a demoniac Varnashram system based on. Krishna says that this system is based on one's nature and one's work. Because somebody has acquired a certain nature, he takes on a certain varna. So what are the duties of different varnas? Let's see. What are the duties of brahmanas? Let's read this.
Brahmanas, priests, teachers, and intellectuals. The Brahmanas provide education and spiritual leadership. They determine the vision and values of any society. Traditionally, their basic needs were fulfilled so that they could dedicate themselves to their spiritual tasks. They are expected to live very frugally. Duties to, to study and teach the Vedas, Pathan, Pathan, to perform sacrifice and religious ceremonies, and teach others how to perform such rituals. Va- Yajana, yajana, to accept alms and also give in charity. Dana pratigraha, to offer guidance especially to the Kshatriyas, to provide medical care and general advice free of charge, to know Brahman spirit, the self God, the, to never accept paid employment, to develop all ideal qualities, especially honesty, integrity, cleanliness, purity, austerity, knowledge, and wisdom.
Okay, so mainly the duties of a brahmana, patan. He has to study and he has to also teach the Vedas. Patan, yagya, yagna. He does the yagyas and he teaches others also how to do the yagya. And dana, pratigra. He accepts donation. He also gives charity. So how does he give charity? If he is receiving more than he requires for himself, not greed, okay, just for his maintenance, he accepts donation from everyone. Whoever gives a donation to a Brahmin, it's the duty of a Brahmin to accept. Reason being, when somebody gives in charity to a Brahmin, that person receives some spiritual benefit. So in order to help another person advance in his spirituality, because the other person is receiving some spiritual benefit by giving a donation to a Brahmana, he does not refuse the charity. Whatever a Brahman receives, he has to accept it. But now if he has got more than what he requires for his maintenance, then the excess he has to give away in charity. If he is keeping the excess for his own sense gratification, then he is failing in his duty. So these are the duties of a Brahmana. The duties of a Kshatriya, let's read quickly.
Kshatriyas, warriors, police, and administrators. The Kshatriyas are the nobility, the protectors of society. Though permitted a number of privileges, they are expected to display considerable strength of body and character. Duties to protect the citizens from harm, especially women, children, cows, brahmanas, and the elderly. To ensure that the citizens perform their prescribed duties and advance spiritually. To never flee the battlefield. To be true to the royal word. To never refuse a challenge. To develop noble qualities such as power, chivalry, and generosity. To levy taxes from the Vaishyas only, and to never accept charity under any circumstances. To take counsel, especially from the Brahmanas. to to know the scriptures, to deal uncompromisingly with
मास्क
crime and
हटा दो ना,
fraud,
कितना गंदा लग रहा है।
to
वैसे एक
take
बार ना शाम
responsibility
को
for
करना
shortcoming
चाहिए था,
in
क्योंकि
their
सुबह सुबह
kingdoms,
लग जाता है ना 7 बजे,
to
है ना?
conquer their own minds and
तुम्हारी देर में करना है,
senses,
अच्छा लग
and to
रहा है।
enjoy only according
और
to
सावित्री
spiritual
करती थी ना 12
indulgence,
बजे,
to beg it
ज्यादा
ahead.
देर बात करता था।
So a Kshatriya, he is given a facility to live a very, very opulent life. But then along with that comes the responsibility that when there is a war-like situation, then he has to be in the forefront and he has to face those deadly weapons and the deadly warriors, and he has to fight the war. This is what a Kshatriya has to do. In return for living that life of opulence, then they have to take the responsibility of bravely facing death-like situations. And of course, they cannot receive any charity, and they have to take counsel from the Brahmanas. So they have to take advice from the Brahmanas, because the Brahmanas are the ones who teach spirituality. Vaishyas.
Vaishyas, farmers, merchants, and business people. The Vaishyas are the productive class. They, along with the Kshatriyas and Brahmanas, are called twice born, indicating that they accept spiritual initiation and must perform certain rituals and rites of passage. Duties: to protect animals, especially cows and the land, to create wealth and prosperity, to maintain workers with abundant food, clothes, etc., to trade ethically, to give taxes to the Kshatriyas, ruling class.
So they are the productive class. And what is their duty? They have to maintain the workers with abundant food, clothes, etc., and they have to trade ethically. It's not that because they are into business or they are into trading, they can use unethical means. They have to earn their living by honest methods. And last, the Shudras. Devina, are you there?
Yeah, Shudras, artisans and workers. The Shudras are the only section of society allowed to accept another's employment. Other Varnas are occupationally and financially self-sufficient. Duties: to render service to others, to take pride in their works and to be loyal, to follow general moral principles, E.G. not to steal, to marry the only compulsory rite of passage.
Okay, so here in Vaishyas, I forgot to mention here that the Vaishyas, along with the Brahmanas and the Kshatriyas, they are twice born. What do you mean by twice born? Twice born means when one accepts a spiritual master, then that is considered to be a second birth. The first birth for everyone is from the biological parents, our parents, right? They give us the first birth. But the second birth is one when one accepts a spiritual master. So that is called as twice born. That's why when we receive initiation from a spiritual master, we get a spiritual name. This is how the parents give a name to the child when the child is born. The spiritual master is the spiritual father, and he gives a spiritual name to the disciple at the time of receiving initiation. Therefore, one gets a spiritual name. So these three, the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and the Vaishyas, they are twice born. They accept spiritual initiation. But the Shudras, because they are not spiritually inclined by nature, therefore they don't receive initiation. They don't accept a spiritual master. They just render service to others. They receive an instruction and they only know how to execute the instruction. And they are the only ones who are dependent on somebody else for their living, in the sense that they receive a salary. All others are financially self-sufficient. So Varnashram provides a social structure for spiritual advancement, thus enabling one to systematically develop Krishna consciousness. The point is, when one does his duty within the Varnashram system, then gradually there is going to be an upgrade from Shudra to Vaishya to Kshatriya to Brahmana. one who perfectly executes his duties as a Shudra, in the next life, he will be born as a Vaishya. And then perfectly executing Vaishya, in the next life, he will take to Kshatriya qualities. And perfectly executing as Kshatriya, next life, Brahmanical qualities. So like that, by following this system, one gets an upgrade. So the four ashramas provide a time-wise progression in one's spiritual commitment. So one knows that, okay, I have lived 25 years as a brahmachari, 25 years as a grihastha. Now my 51st year, I have to start retiring. I have to now learn to give over my responsibilities to the next generation and not be caught with my possessions still. So there is a time-wise progression. We know that now that we have crossed this age, then we have to start focusing on uh, that particular ashram. And Varna provides for one's material needs in the least uncomplicated way. So material needs of everybody is automatically provided in this system. As we saw, the Brahmanas, they receive donation, Kshatriyas, they levy taxes, the traders, they create their own money, and the Shudras, they receive a salary. So one's material needs are provided for in an uncomplicated and most harmonious way according to one's psychophysical nature. So we all have a certain nature, a psychophysical nature, and depending on that nature, we do a particular work. And because we are doing a particular work, there are some duties that are prescribed under that category. And if we do those duties, then automatically we are pleasing the Lord, because it is He who has created this Varnashram system. So coming back to our point that this is not based on birth, because if the Lord would have given importance to birth, then Lord Krishna would have not received, would have not accepted the invitation by Vidura. So this was when Krishna went as a peace messenger to Hastinapur. Duryodhan invited him for a royal feast. And at the same time, Vidura also invited him to his house. Now, Vidura is the son of a maid servant. So he is not living in an opulent environment like Duryodhan. But Krishna rejected the invitation of Duryodhan and he accepted Vidura's invitation. And when he went to Vidura's house, Vidura's wife was so enchanted, mesmerized by Krishna, that when she was offering him bananas, instead of giving him the pulp of the banana, she was feeding him the peel, the banana peel, the skin. And Krishna very happily was eating the banana skin. And then Vidura appears on the scene and he tells his wife, "What are you doing?" And then he starts to feed the pulp to Krishna. And Krishna tells Vidura, "The pulp of the fruit that you are offering me is not as sweet as the skin that was being offered to me by your wife." Why? Because she was offering it with so much love and devotion. Right? So if Krishna was to see birth, status by birth, then he would have not rejected Duryodhan's offer and accepted Vidura's offer. Neither would Sri Ramachandra have accepted the half-tasted berries by Shabri. You know, Shabri, she was half tasting the fruit and she was feeding it to Krishna, to Lord Ram. So if birth was a consideration, neither Krishna nor Ram would have accepted these offerings. And even in our history, there are cases where somebody was born in another Varna, but they took two activities of another Varna and they were respected. Who is this person on your screen who was born in a Kshatriya family but took to Brahmanical practices and was respected for this?
Valmiki?
No, not Valmiki.
Vishwamitra.
Vishwamitra, yes, Vishwamitra, correct. And this person who was born in a Brahmin family but did activities of a Kshatriya?
Parshuram.
Parshuram, yes. So Valmiki was not born in a Kshatriya family. Okay? Who is this person who was born in a demon family?
Prahalad.
Prahalad, yes, Prahalad. He was born in a demon family. No, in fact, Hiranyakashipu, you can say that he was a founder acharya of demoniac principles. He was so demoniac. But he was embraced by Lord Nrsimhadev, although he was born in a demon family. Then we have Vyasadev. Vyasadev was actually the son of a fisherwoman, Satyavati. But still, he upgraded, he uplifted himself, and he was then deeply respected as a great Brahmin. Who is this person who came to attack Narada Muni?
This is Valmiki. Valmiki.
Valmiki, yes. Valmiki was a dacoit, and he once attacked Narada Muni because he wanted to rob him of his possessions. What is it that Narada Muni had in his possession?
Nothing. I think.
Yeah, nothing. He only has a musical instrument with him, isn't the veena? He just has a veena, that's it. But he is not going to give him even the veena because it's that veena is transcendental. He uses it to chant the names of the Lord. So somehow Narada Muni convinced him to chant the name of Lord Ram. So then he sat down and he started to chant the name of Lord Ram. And then this is what he became. So his name when he was a hunter was Ratnakar. So this is his journey from being Ratnakar, from being a dacoit to Valmiki. And Valmiki, of course, he composed our very own Ramayan. So he also upgraded himself from a lower status to a higher status. So the point we are trying to make is birth does not matter. Who is this person who used to half kill the animals? He used to half kill the animals and derive great pleasure in seeing the animals suffering. He would not completely kill the animal. He would half kill and he would derive joy from seeing the animals suffer. Then he came across Narada Muni, and because Narada Muni preached to him, finally he also became a great Brahmin. Who was he? Anybody knows?
Angulimar? No.
The story is there in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay.
Angulimar?
His name was Mrigari the hunter. So after he became a Brahmin, he sat down on a tree, under a tree, and people would bring food to him. You know, when somebody is spiritually inclined, then automatically people are more respectful towards you, and they would take food to Mrigari. So he never had to again kill to make a living. And then when Narada Muni went to meet him later, he went to meet his disciple after a few days. And Brigari was so careful when he was walking towards Narada Muni because he did not want to step on an ant unknowingly and kill the ant under his feet. So that's why you can see he was looking carefully and he was putting the ants on one side because he did not want to step on the ant. So from being Mrigari the hunter who would half kill the animals, he has now completely undergone a transformation. Who's this?
Ravan.
Ravan, yes, Ravan, isn't it? So Ravan, actually, his father was a great sage. And Ravan was actually the great grandson of Lord Brahma himself. But still, although he's coming from a great lineage, he took to demoniac activity. So this is an example of a downgrade. One may get an upgrade in the Varnashram system. One can also downgrade himself. One may be born in a Brahminical family, but he has downgraded himself to becoming a demon. Demons are less than Shudras. They are not even Shudras. They are less than Shudras also. Who is this person, this child, who was the son of a maid servant? This 5-year-old boy. Anybody knows? A 5-year-old boy who was a son of a maid servant. His mother died when he was 5 years old. His father died long back. And then as a 5-year-old boy, he meditated and then he saw the Paramatma. Nobody?
Narada Mahamuni?
Narada Muni, yes, very nice, Saket, yes. So this was actually Narada Muni. In his previous lifetime, he was the son of a maid servant. And then he realized the Paramatma after both his parents died. And then in the next life, he became the great Narada Muni, the celestial spaceman. Okay, now question. Krishna says that he has created this Varnashram system. To which class does Lord Krishna belong? Does he belong to Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra? Which class did Lord Krishna belong to?
Vaishya.
Vaishya. Any other answers?
All.
All? Any other answer?
Yeah.
I think he would be above the class system since he's created it.
Exactly. Krishna said, we saw it in that verse, no? Krishna says that although I have created this Varnashram system, see, although I am the creator of the system, you should know that I am the non-doer, being unchangeable. So he is not within the system. Krishna is saying, don't put me in this system. He is above the Varnashram system. Krishna is not Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra. He is above
Yaduvanshi,
this.
he was Yaduvanshi.
Yeah, yes. Externally, you can say that he was that Nanda Maharaj was a Vaishya, so he was brought up in a Vaishya family. Okay. Yes, but we cannot say that he is a Vaishya. He is above the system. Okay. So Krishna and one Krishna consciousness are both transcendental to all divisions, community, nation, or species of society. Once somebody said that Krishna is Gujarati also. That also I've heard. Okay, but Krishna is not Gujarati. He is above. He is above all community, nation, or species. Next question. Where does the Vaishnava or practitioner of Krishna consciousness belong in the four social orders of society? Sorry?
Grihastha ashram.
Grihastha ashram. So if somebody is a sannyasi and he is following Krishna consciousness, then
They are also transcendental.
they are also transcendental.
Four.
Exactly. The answer to 2 is under 1. See, the first question answer is Krishna and one in Krishna consciousness are both transcendental to all divisions. So even a Vaishnava is transcendental to all divisions. A devotee does not belong to the regular Varnashram system. He belongs to what is called as a Daiva Varnashram. What is this Daiva Varnashram system? Let us read the last paragraph, Devina.
Daivi Varnashrama means that system of Varna and Ashrama, where the individuals are directing all their activities towards pleasing Krishna, where the members of each Varna and Ashrama know about know about devotional service and are willing to practice devotional service within the confines of their Varnas and Ashramas. H. Bhakti Raghav Swami Maharaj.
So in Daivi Varnashram, all the members, they are working only to please Krishna. So a devotee, we have said this before, he is in the temple, just before a Janmashtami feast, he may sweep the floor. There he is doing the work of a Shudra. He may give Bhagavatam class. There he is doing the work of a Brahmana. He may even clean the toilets. He is doing the work of a Shudra. He may be selling books or he may be selling Tulsi Mala in the boutique in the temple. There he is doing the work of a Vaishya. And if somebody comes and tries to attack the temple or tries to attack the deities or tries to attack another devotee in the temple, he may also do the job of a Kshatriya. Or when he's an administrator, if he is the president of the temple and somebody has not done his service properly, then he will don the work of an administrator, of a Kshatriya, and he may have to come down heavily on that person. So a Vaishnava also is beyond this system. He belongs to the Daiva Varnashram system, where the goal is, whatever is the activity, the goal is to just please Lord Krishna. So yes, externally we can say that actually, even though Krishna is above the four Varnas, he performs activities in all the four Varnas. When he is teaching Arjuna on the battlefield, he is imparting knowledge. He is doing the role of a Brahmana. When he was the king in Dwaraka, he was donning the role of a Kshatriya. When he was taking care of the cows and he was being brought up by Nanda Maharaj, there he is playing the role of a Vaishya. And when he's pulling the chariot of Arjuna, he's a chariot driver. So here he's doing the role of a Shudra. So interestingly, he has done duties in all the four Varnas. Now, let's see, there is something that appears like a contradiction. Let us see how to reconcile. Now, in 4.13, Krishna is saying that I am the non-doer. We just now read the shloka, the last line. 4.13, he says that I am the non-doer. So Krishna says he is not the doer. But in 3.27, when he spoke about ahankara vimudhatma, what did he say? One who thinks that he is the doer is illusion. So 4.13, Krishna is saying, I am not the doer. 3.27, he's saying the living entity is not the doer. Then who is the doer? Then what is there seems to be a confusion. There seems to be a contradiction. Our thinking of ourselves as the cause of the results of our activities, Krishna says, indicates that we are bewildered. Now Krishna tells us not only that we are not the doer, but that he is also not the doer. Then who is doing everything? If Krishna is not the doer, we are also not the doers, then how to reconcile this? So let us see the answer to this. Let us read the last from Krishna sometimes, Devina.
Krishna sometimes takes one side of this issue and sometimes the other. At times, he wants to emphasize our position as tiny souls who should not be falsely proud of our prowess or think ourselves rightfully attached to the fruits of our activities. At such times, he emphasizes that we are not the doer, that we do not cause he the one minute. Okay, so that we do not cause the fruits of our activities, and the results of our activities are awarded to us by material nature. At some times he emphasizes our culpability. He then wants us to take full responsibility for our actions and their reactions. Thus, at those times, Krishna stresses himself also as the non-doer.
Okay, so when Krishna wants us to realize that we are tiny souls and we should not be proud of ourselves, then he says that you are not the doer. And at the other time on, when he wants to emphasize that we have to take the responsibility for our actions. He is not the one who's forcing us. He is not the one who's making us commit sinful activities. He is not. So there he says that he is not the doer. So when he's emphasizing different points, then accordingly he's presenting his arguments. But then what is the how to understand which of the two statements are correct? Actually, both statements are correct. How both statements are correct, we will see in the last paragraph. Krishna says, Krishna, the material nature and the living entities are all doers. There are three doers. The living entity desires to act. Krishna sanctions it, and material nature facilitates the activity. Yet the weight of responsibility for the action rests solely upon the living entity. So let's try to understand this with an example. If somebody wants to smoke a cigarette, now the government or there are shops, there are supermarkets where cigarettes are available. So this person can go and purchase a cigarette in that shop, right? Now, who's the sanctioner? Who has sanctioned the sale of cigarettes in the land? The government of the country has sanctioned. Yes. Now, if the person who's smoking, because of his smoking, now he gets, let's say he has developed some disease. Can he go and sue the supermarket or sue the government saying that because you sanctioned it, because you sold the product to me, that's why now I have got the disease? He cannot do that. Although that cigarette cannot be sold without the government sanctioning it, still this person who wanted to smoke, it is his responsibility for that disease. He is responsible for getting the disease because he chose to go and purchase and smoke those cigarettes. So in the same way, although the Lord is sanctioning the activities, we have to take the responsibility. We cannot blame the Lord for our sinful activities. So all three are the doers. So let's take an example. A drunkard abuses a friend because girlfriend left him after his misbehavior. Okay, so there is a drunkard and his girlfriend left him. and then he's abusing a friend, and he tells the friend, I'm sorry, it was not me, it was the alcohol that I drank that made me abuse you. He tells his friend this. So who was responsible for him abusing the friend? Was it the alcohol or was it him? First of all, let us try to analyze what is the wrong thing that he did here and what should have been the right thing. First of all, the right thing is he should have remained brahmachari. He should not have a girlfriend, because Vedic system does not allow one to have a girlfriend or a boyfriend. It's either brahmachari or marriage. So the right thing to do was remain a brahmachari. The wrong action, he went outside the Shastra and he had a girlfriend. Okay, now that he had a girlfriend, what is the right thing to do? The right thing to do was he has to behave good with his girlfriend. He didn't do that. What is the wrong thing he did? He has misbehaved with the girlfriend, and that's why the girlfriend has left him. Now that the girlfriend has left him because of his misbehavior, what is the next right thing that he should do? Because he has a behavior problem, he should have gone to a counselor. But instead of going to a counselor, what did he do? The wrong thing that he did, he started to drink alcohol. Now, after drinking alcohol, at least what is the right thing that he should have done? He should at least keep his mouth shut because he's under the influence of alcohol. But instead of keeping his mouth shut, he has abused his friend. And then he tells his friend that I'm sorry, I did not abuse you. It was the alcohol that made me abuse you. So these kind of statements, they are very poor arguments that people normally give. When people commit sinful activities, and these are the poor arguments that they give. So responsibility we have to take for our actions. We cannot blame God for our behavior. We cannot say, no, God is making me eat meat, so I'm eating meat. I don't go to the temple because what they say, bulawa nahi hai. They say, Bhagwan ne humko bulaya nahi, that's why we are not going to the temple. No, we have to take responsibility for our actions. We cannot blame God for not going to the temple or not attending the Gita class or taking to sinful activities. We have to take the responsibility. Okay, let's go to 4.14.
मां कर्माणि लिम्पन्ति न मे कर्मफले स्पृहा इति मां योऽभिजानाति कर्मभिर्न स बध्यते.
There is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. One who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work.
So here again, the same point. Krishna says, there is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. So he's saying that I am not responsible for your position in the Varnashram system. I am not affected by the right and wrong activities that the living entity does in the Varnashram system. It does not affect me in any way. And one who understands this does not get entangled in the fruitive reactions of work. So there is no reaction to one person who understands that Krishna is above the Varnashram system. We will see this a little bit more in detail. Oh, I don't have the slides here. Okay, let's see here. Okay. So Prabhupada gives the example in the purport of rain. Gives the example of rain in the purport. He says that just as how the rain falls, right? Now, in my piece of land, maybe there is no tree or vegetation growing, but my neighbor, he has a nice plants that grow nicely. Now, is the rain responsible that in my piece of land there was no vegetation? No, because I never planted the seed. If I don't plant the seeds only, how will the plants grow? But my neighbor planted seeds, therefore the plants grew. Or I cannot blame if I plant the seeds of Karela, of bitter melon, and then I complain that my neighbor's fruit is so sweet, but my fruit is so bitter. I cannot do that. I cannot blame the rain. The rain is equal to both pieces of land, right? My neighbor and it fell equally. But my neighbor planted the mango seed, therefore his fruit is sweet. I planted bitter melon, that's therefore my fruit is bitter. So there is this expression in English now, as you sow, so shall you reap. So depending on what I have sown, that is the fruit that I get. So Krishna is above. It's like he's impartial like the rain. And we get according to what we have planted.
एवं ज्ञात्वा कृतं कर्म पूर्वैरपि मुमुक्षुभिः कुरु कर्मैव तस्मात् त्वं पूर्वैः पूर्वतरं कृतम्.
All the liberated souls in ancient times acted with this understanding of my transcendental nature. Therefore, you should perform your duty following in their footsteps.
So here Krishna is telling Arjuna that you're not the first person who's going to walk this path. This is already a tried and tested method, and all the liberated souls in the past have acted with this understanding. So you also do your duty within the Varnashram system. What is Arjuna's duty within the Varnashram system? His duty is that he's a Kshatriya and he has to fight. So therefore, he's saying all in the past also all the liberated souls have attained liberation walking on this path. You're not the first person, so therefore you also do your duty by following in their footsteps. So it's always nobody usually people do not want to be the first in an unknown territory, right? Would anybody like to be the first patient whom the surgeon is going to operate upon? This doctor has never performed a surgery. He's going to perform a surgery for the first time. Would you like to be under the knife of such a surgeon? I don't think anybody would like to do that. Or somebody who's flying his first flight, right? This pilot has never flown a plane. This is going to be his first professional flight. So there will be some fear. It's not going to be readily accepted. So therefore, Krishna is saying, you are not the first person. This thing has already been done by people in the past, so you just do it. Let's read this.
Action in Krishna consciousness has to be executed in accordance with the examples of previous bona fide devotees. This is recommended in the 15th verse. Why such action should not be independent will be explained in the text to follow.
So Krishna is telling in 15 that you just follow the example of previous devotees who have walked this path. Don't be independent. You don't do things on your own will, right? You don't have to independently do something. Just do what others have been doing. Just walk that path which has already been walked by others. Why one should not act independently, that he will explain in the upcoming verse. So that takes us to the next section, which is titled as Understanding Karma on the Platform of Jnana. So we have to understand here. Let's try to understand. In chapter 3 was titled Karma Yoga. Yes. So in all the verses up till 3.35, up till the 35th verse, Krishna has discussed Karma Yoga in chapter 3. Then in 3.36, Arjuna has asked a question. What was that question he asked? He asked, what is it that forces one to act sinfully, even though unwillingly? He's not willing to commit that sin, but there is a force that is forcing me to act. What is that? So 36 from 37 till the end of the chapter and till the 15th verse of chapter 4, Krishna is answering that question of Arjuna. Because Krishna says that is lust. And then he expands on lust, and then lust takes him how to overcome lust by spiritual intelligence, and that takes him to speaking about transcendental knowledge. So from 3.36 to 4.15, that subject matter is dealt with. Now that Krishna has finished answering Arjuna's question, from 4.16 onwards, Krishna goes back to his discussion on Karma Yoga. So, of course, when Krishna is speaking on the battlefield, he is not talking about chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4. That's not how Krishna is talking, right? His is one entire unit. It's just a conversation. But the divisions are made by Vyasadeva. So now after Krishna has answered the question, 4.16 onwards, Krishna goes back to discussing Karma Yoga in this section. So let's see 4.16.
किं कर्म किमकर्मेति कवयोऽप्यत्र मोहिताः तत्ते कर्म प्रवक्ष्यामि यज्ञात्वा मोक्षसे शुभाम्.
Even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action and what is inaction. Now I shall explain to you what action is, knowing which you shall be liberated from all misfortune.
So is Arjuna an intelligent person or is he foolish?
Intelligent.
He is intelligent. So why is Krishna speaking this knowledge to Arjuna when Arjuna is already intelligent?
He's
It's for
confused.
the people in Kali Yuga.
Very good, Ayush. So this is for the people in Kali Yuga. But based on 4.16, what is the point that Krishna is trying to make by giving this knowledge to an intelligent Arjuna? Based on the translation here. So what is Krishna saying here? Even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action, what is inaction. So Krishna is
So
trying to make a point. Yeah.
we all can liberate it from misfortune.
Yes, we can be liberated from misfortune, but the point is, why did he choose Arjuna, an intelligent being, to give this knowledge? Because Krishna is saying even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action and what is inaction. So if an intelligent person can be bewildered, then where do we people of Kali Yuga, we are the least intelligent, where do we stand? That's the point Krishna is trying to make. So even an intelligent person like Arjuna was bewildered in the battlefield when he saw his relatives opposite him. So where do we stand a chance? Then what is he saying? What is action and what is inaction? Now I shall explain to you what action is, knowing which you shall be liberated. Now he is going to explain in detail what is action. So one lesson that we get from here is understand scripture through devotional dedication, not linguistic specialization. So one may be very intelligent, one may be expert in knowing the shlokas, one may be a Sanskrit scholar, but that intellectuality is not enough to understand the subject matter. We can only understand through devotion, through bhakti. We cannot understand it through linguistic specialization. We can, even if we are expert in Sanskrit, we may be great scholars, philosophers, but we will not be able to understand Shastra. We have to understand Shastra only through devotion, through bhakti only we can understand. 17.
कर्मणो ह्यपि बोद्धव्यं च विकर्मणः अकर्मणश्च बोद्धव्यं गहना कर्मणो गतिः.
The intricacies of action are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is.
So see here, Krishna is saying that the intricacies of action are very hard to understand. So first of all, the law of karma, intricacies of action, law of karma is very, very hard to understand. So people are mostly they ask, no, what did I do to deserve this? Why is this happening to me? What did I do in my past life to deserve this? Or so these questions we cannot answer them because it's very, very complex. The law of karma is a very, very complex subject matter, very, very hard to understand. And Krishna says it's hard to understand. It is hard to understand. Okay. Now next, he's saying he's going to explain now properly what is action, what is forbidden action, and what is inaction. So what is action? What is karma? What is forbidden action? That is vikarma. And what is inaction? That is akarma. So three things: akarma, vikarma, and karma. Normally we just use the word karma, but now we'll see the difference between these three terms. There are three types of karma. Let's read this.
Types of karma. Karma, action pious as per scriptural direction. Vikarma, forbidden action, sinful against scriptural directions. Akarma, inaction, devotional activities, one does not suffer any reaction. Akarma can also mean non-performance of prescribed duties.
So akarma, there are two meanings, but we will see the first meaning in this entire section. The second meaning is very used very less in the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so now we'll just focus on the first meaning of akarma. So karma means pious action as per what the Shastra indicates. Okay, like punya karmas we say, no? That is punya karma. The result of doing karma is we get to enjoy in the heavenly planets. Then there is vikarma. Vikarma is actions that are sinful, that are not allowed in Shastras. So that takes us to the hellish planets. And akarma means devotional activities. So these are activities that are done to please the Lord. And this does not bring any reaction. Let us see in more detail. Let's first read what is akarma, for whom it is, for Krishna. Let's read in that order, Devina.
Okay. Akarma, for whom Krishna. Attitude, no desire for sense gratification. Acting as an internal servitor. Result, enjoys transcendental happiness, liberating. Vikarma, with attachment to self. Attitude, acting acting against spiritual injunctions. Result, bad reaction binding to the material world. Karma, for whom with attachment to self. Attitude, action according to Shastras, including Varnashrama Dharma. Result, good reaction binding to the material world.
So in both karma and vikarma, the goal is my own sense gratification. But what is the difference? Vikarma is sinful. Karma is not sinful activities. So karma will take us to heavenly planets, good reaction, but still we are in the material world. Vikarma brings us, also keeps us in the material world, but it takes us to the hellish planets because it is bad reaction. So papa and punya. Vikarma is papa and karma is punya. Papa and punya. And in akarma, the desire is just to satisfy Krishna. And what is the result? It will give us mukti, liberation. So here there is no desire for personal sense gratification. The person who's doing akarma just works as an eternal servant. Now let's try to understand this act of receiving a donation. What is it? Is it karma? It is akarma or it is vikarma?
Depends for what.
It depends for what the money is being used. Yes, very nice. So if I use the money for going to a casino and gambling, then what is it?
Vikarma.
Vikarma. If I use the money to live a more comfortable life and to support my family, then it is karma. And if I use the money to construct a temple for Krishna,
Akarma.
then it is akarma. Yes, correct. So,
But it is a donation, no? Donation, the person who's giving donation.
no, receiving
These,
donation, the act of receiving donation.
Okay.
So what counts is the consciousness. When one is receiving the donation, what is the consciousness of the person that determines whether it is karma or akarma or vikarma. So let's take some examples and we will read from left to right. Karma is student leaves home to go to school and gains knowledge. Then vikarma is leaves home to go to school but goes to cinema. And what is akarma? So we will read in that order, Devina, please.
Okay. Karma, student leaves home to go to school and gains knowledge. Vikarma, student leaves home to go to school but goes to cinema instead. Akarma, student leaves home to go to school and after school goes to temple for darshan. Karma, man goes to work, earns money through honest means and use it to take care of family. Vikarma, man goes to work, earns money and then uses the money for gambling. Akarma, man goes to work, earns money and then uses the money for sponsored temple fee. Karma, Arjuna fights the war to fulfill his duty as a Kshatriya. Vikarma, Arjuna fights the war to enjoy kingdom at the cost of that of his teachers and elders. Akarma, Arjuna fights the war to establish dharma under the instruction of Krishna. Man sponsors child education. Vikarma, child grows up and works as a hacker for a terrorist organization. Akarma, child grows up and creates software for accessing Shastra in multiple languages. Karma receive donations and use it for public welfare activities. Karma use donation to open a slaughterhouse. Karma use donation to construct a gurukul for children where they can learn Bhagavad Gita and other shastra. Karma. Karma Kanda worship. Karma. Worshipping of ghosts and spirits. Karma Krishna Vishnu Bhakti.
Okay, so these are a few examples to explain karma, vikarma, and akarma. Is this concept clear? Does anybody have a question?
No.
Okay, so what do we mean by worshipping of ghosts and spirits? What kind of worship is that?
Like demon, ghost things.
So what is it?
We
What is it?
Black magic.
Black magic. Yes, black magic. So when people do black magic, that is also kind of worship, but that is karma. Not every worship is good karma or transcendental. There is also karma in worshipping. So when one does black magic, then that is karma. So karma, karma, and akarma. So there are 4 things that are completely prohibited. Is completely karma. What are these 4 things that are completely prohibited according to Shastra? No gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex, and no meat eating. So these are the 4 things that are absolutely prohibited according to our Shastra. What is the reason why these 4 is a complete no? Because there are 4 pillars of religion. What are the 4 pillars of religion? Satyam, Tapa, Saucham, and Daya. Truthfulness, austerity, cleanliness, and mercy. So when we eat meat, then we are breaking the pillar of mercy. When we indulge in illicit relationships, then we are breaking the pillars of Saucham, cleanliness. Intoxication, we are breaking the pillars of austerity, self-discipline. And when we engage in gambling, then we are breaking the pillars of truthfulness. So when we engage in 4 sinful activities, we are breaking the pillars of religion. Therefore, these 4 regulative principles are karma under any time, any place, and any circumstances. Now, we are saying that this is karma. Whose authority? Who can lay down the principles of dharma? Who can say that this is karma, this is akarma? Who can say that? Because the doctor may tell you it's okay to drink in moderation. The doctors may even say that it's 1 peg a day is good for your health, right? So are we going to accept the doctor as authority? Sometimes a parent may feed beef to the child. So can the child say, my parents allow me to eat beef? So my parents are my authority. So I can take it. It is dharmic. Sometimes, the government also lays down. Anybody above 18 is allowed to gamble. So then that does not be karma because the government of my country allows me to gamble when I'm above 18. A lawyer may give us advice on how we can get away from the crime. He may point out some loopholes in the law and he can say, okay, you do this and you can get away with this crime. So do we accept that lawyer as authority? Or sometimes in a family discussion, the family rules and regulations are set down. This is how we will work as a family. Can we accept a family discussion as authority? Who is authority? Who determines whether something is karma, akarma, or vikarma? So there is this very nice verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Let's read this Sanskrit and then the translation.
Okay. Srimad Bhagavatam 6.3.19. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam na vai vidur rishayo napi deva na siddha mukhya asura manushya puto nu vidyadara charanadaya. Translation: real religious principles are enacted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although fully situated in the mode of goodness, even the great rishis who occupy the topmost planets cannot ascertain the real religious principles, nor can the demigods or the leaders of Shidaloka, to say nothing of the Asuras. Ordinary human beings, Vidyadharas and Charanas.
So, real religious principle, dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. So, only God can lay down the real religious principles. Only He can tell us what is karma, what is akarma, and what is vikarma. Okay, dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. Nobody else can determine what is karma. The doctor cannot say that it's okay, you have to eat beef, it has a lot of protein. That does not make it dharmic. That doesn't make it a religious principle, right? So real religious principles are enacted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead only. Nobody else can tell us what is karma and what is vikarma. See that Navai Vidu Rishayo, even the rishis, even the sages cannot lay down religious principles. Napi Deva, even the devatas, the demigods also cannot lay down the religious principles. Na Siddha Mukhya, not even the leaders of the Siddha Lokas can tell us what is it. Asuras, Manushya, even the Asuras cannot say Manushya's human being, another human being cannot tell us what is real religious principles, not even the Vidyadhars and not even the Charanas. Vidyadhars and Charanas are the residents of the higher planetary systems. So nobody can know, these people cannot lay down the religious principle. Only God can tell us what is real Dharma. So how do we know what is real Dharma? We have to take instruction from only 3 lines of authority: Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. So learning from Parampara is as good as learning from God himself. Of course, Krishna is not going to personally come down and give us the Gita like Arjuna. He's going to not pull our chariot like he pulled Arjuna's chariot. But when we learn from the Parampara, it is as good as learning from God himself. So let's say we come across a guru who says, okay, you give me $1,000 and you can enjoy wine and women. I will take care of your karma. You don't worry. You just enjoy, give me $1,000. I will do whatever is needed to keep you safe from the reaction. Then how do we know that this guru is genuine or not genuine? Obviously, he's not genuine. We know why, because he is not saying that which is written in the Shastra. So the perfect reference point is the Shastra, is the scriptures. If the guru is not saying what is given in the Shastra, then we know that he is not bona fide. 4.18.
कर्मण्यकर्मयः पश्येत् अकर्मणि च कर्मयः स बुद्धिमान् मनुष्येषु स युक्तः कृत्स्नकर्मकृत्.
One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among men, and he is in the transcendental position, although engaged in all sorts of activities.
So there are 3 things here. 2 things. One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction. Now we saw previously what is action, what is inaction, and what is karma, vikarma, and akarma, right? So now he's telling us one who sees inaction in action and action in inaction. So this is not only a tongue twister, this is also a brain twister. How to understand now what is inaction in action and what is action in action? Let us try to understand. Now every activity has 2 aspects, sin and either when we do any activity, either we take the sinful reaction or we take the good reactions. So it's either papa or it is punya. When it is papa, it takes us to hellish planets. When it is punya, it takes us to heavenly planets. But the problem in both cases, even when we do punya, the problem with punya is it will, to reap the benefits of the punya, to enjoy the benefit, we have to come back to this material world. We have to come back to enjoy, right? Let's say that in one lifetime, I do 100 activities. Out of those 100 activities, I do 50 good activities and 50 bad activities. Now, to enjoy the reaction of those 50 good activities and to suffer the reactions or the punishments of the 50 bad activities, I have to come back again. Now, in the next lifetime, let's say that one lifetime was not enough to reap the 50 good and the 50 bad. I'm only, in that lifetime, I'm able to only get 30 good and 30 bad. So now 20 and 20 are remaining. Now for those 20 remaining, that balance, I have to again take birth. Now in my third birth, if I get the 20 and 20, then is the balance 0? No, because now in that lifetime, again I have committed 500 more activities, and now again 500 more reactions. So this cycle will go on continuously. Eternally, I am taking birth and going through birth, death, birth, death, birth, death. This is the problem. So how to solve this problem? First of all, what is the problem? As long as there is action, there will be reaction. Okay, so that is a problem. As long as there is action, there will be a reaction. And reaction means staying in this material realm. So reaction means rebirth, to enjoy. Let's read this.
Problem: as long as there is action, there will be a reaction. Reaction equals rebirth to enjoy the benefits, suffer the punishment. Solution: no action. Is it possible? Bhagavad Gita 3.5. No one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. It is the nature of the soul to be always active. Therefore, engage in those actions that do not bring any reaction. Our karma does not bring any reaction. Therefore, it is likened to no action.
Ma'am,
Oh,
we are not able to hear you.
sorry. I muted myself. Okay. So the problem is, as long as there is action, there will be a reaction, right? So reaction means rebirth. What is the solution? That there has to be no reaction. How there can be no reaction? There will be no reaction when there is no action. But is it possible for us to do no action? That's not possible, because we saw in chapter 3 how it is the nature of the soul to always be active. It's the nature of the soul to always be active, right? So we cannot not do anything. We cannot have zero activity. Zero activity is not an option at all. Just like if you put a fly in a Ziploc bag, it will keep on buzzing, zzz, it'll keep on moving, right? Because it's a nature. So it's the nature of the soul. Even after liberation, the soul wants to be active, wants to be engaged in activities. So no activity is not an option. Therefore, what is the solution? What to do? The solution is engage in those actions which will not bring a reaction. So because activity is the nature of the soul, we have to do action. So we will act. But we will do those activities which will not bring a reaction. So what is that activity which will not bring a reaction? That activity which we do to please the Lord, that activity does not bring any reaction. For example, we have to eat to keep the body and soul together, right? But when we offer the food to the Lord, then that food is free from reaction because it is prasad. So now we have dovetailed that activity in a Krishna conscious activity. So therefore there is no reaction. If a man and woman unite for their own sense gratification, there is a reaction, right? It is a sinful act. So there will be a reaction to it. But when the man and woman unite within marriage to have Krishna conscious children, to give the child, the soul, the opportunity to not take birth again, then now that activity, the same activity, is free from reaction, because now the consciousness of doing that activity is different. So we are engaging in the same activity, but we are making the switch in our mind of the consciousness. So the only way to come out of this action and reaction is to do those activities which will not bring any reaction. That is karma. So what is the point here Krishna was making in this thing? He's saying one who sees inaction and action and inaction is intelligent. So what is inaction in action? Same example. A devotee, He's engaging, he's cooking his food, he's cooking the food and he's eating. That is action. But that is inaction in action. That is akarma in karma, because he has offered the food and he's eating. So that is actually inaction in action. And on the other side, if somebody says, okay, I don't want any reaction, I'm going to the Himalayas, I'm going to the forest, and I'm going to just sit down and meditate. He thinks that it is inaction. He thinks that it is no activity. But there is some activity because he's breathing, right? He's having a bath in the river. He's talking. So living entities are being killed. So there is some reaction. Even though he thinks that it is inactivity, still there is some reaction. So an intelligent person is one who sees action in inaction and inaction in action. Let's read this.
Who is intelligent and who is in transcendental position? One who sees. Inaction equals karma and karma. Devotional activities and ordinary activities. Action and inaction equals karma in akarma. Ordinary activities and devotional activities. Renunciation of work. Mayavadi. A Mayavadi philosopher wants to stop all activities, but still his activities are karmic, eating, walking, breathing, etc. A Bhakta devotee puts Krishna in the center of all activities, hence is free from akarma.
Okay. So is this concept clear? Does anybody have a question with regard to action, inaction, action and inaction, and inaction and action? Okay. Once there was this incident where there was one Mayavadi philosopher. He wanted to get a picture click of him of somebody giving him a donation, and he's refusing the money. Okay. So the Mayavad philosopher does not want to receive money because he thinks that it will bind him in the action reaction cycle, right? It will bind him in the karmic cycle. And what did Prabhupada say at that time? Prabhupada said, I am willing to get a photograph of me published all over. I don't care. It doesn't matter of me receiving a lot of money with both the hands. Why? Because Prabhupada, he is not going to use that money for his own sense gratification. He is going to use that money to spread Krishna consciousness. So a Mayavad philosopher thinks that receiving the money is karma. But a devotee, he sees that action of receiving the money as a karma because he is going to use that in Krishna's service. So that is seeing action in inaction and action in inaction. Action in inaction and inaction in action. Okay. Anybody has a question?
How will you apply this to our day-to-day life of what we are living, this action reaction?
Yes, in our day-to-day life, the same activity. So eating, we don't eat for our own sense gratification. We eat only prasad, right? Sleeping. Why we sleep? We don't sleep because we want to take rest. We sleep with the consciousness that I have to use this body in the service of Krishna. Therefore, I have to maintain good health so that I can serve Krishna with this body. If my body is diseased, then how I can render service? Then I will be limited in my rendering services. Even mating, having children. We have children with the consciousness that I want to make sure that this soul who is taking birth from my womb, this soul will follow spirituality and will not have to take birth again. Defending, when we use the defense, we try to defend when somebody attacks another devotees, when somebody criticizes another devotee, or somebody is criticizing the Bhagavad Gita, somebody is criticizing Krishna, then we use the defense to defend the devotees of the Lord or to defend the Lord. So in our day-to-day life, every activity that we do, we talk, we sing, we dance, sing for Krishna, dance for Krishna. We like to paint for Krishna. Go to the temple and do menial services. Whatever you like to stitch, then we can stitch clothes for the Lord, stitch clothes for the deities. So in our daily day-to-day activities, if we do it with the consciousness that I want to please the Lord, then it becomes a karma. Otherwise, it is karma. Does that answer your question, Anjali?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Mataji.
Okay. So we'll stop here. We will continue in the next class. A lot of technicalities in this chapter, so we have to have some patience. Up till chapter 6, there are a lot of technicalities. After 6, then it's a little more easy. Okay.
When we have the selection of karmas, I mean that in the varnashram, selection of doing the jobs, like selection of a person who is fit for the particular section. It is not by birth. Now the question is that who authority was to select that this person is up to mark of Brahmana or up to mark of Sudra, or because when the person will born in the family of Brahmana, naturally in the childhood his mother will teach like the Brahmins, and then he will not have the guna of the Brahmanas. So when that boy will convert it to Sudra or Kshatriya or what the things, because there must be some authority to select these people,
No, it's not that an authority selects what we do. The thing is, see, first of all, it's the activity of that person itself. If the person, as he grows, he shows by his behavior that he's not a Shudra by his behavior, he has Brahmanical qualities, the guna of the person. So as a person is growing, the qualities of that person will manifest. It will show. In the case of Vishwamitra and in the case of Parshuram, we saw Parshuram was born in a Brahmin family, but he showed that how he had Kshatriya tendencies. So the tendencies of the person, of the child, will show as they are growing up. This is how now also we see some children are more inclined towards sports. Some children are more inclined towards artistic activities. Some are more inclined towards intellectual studies. So the qualities will be manifest in the child. Nobody is choosing or putting him or forcing him. The child himself manifests those qualities. And by the qualities, the varna, he can choose his activities. And because he is doing one kind of quality, therefore he is a Brahmin. Not that he is born in a Brahmin, therefore he is doing Brahmin activities. He has the Brahmanical tendencies, therefore now he is a Brahmin, like that.
But the Kshatriya, the group of Kshatriya, never accepted that Parshurama is a Kshatriya. He was a Brahmin till end. He was having the act like a Kshatriya, but he was not accepting in the community of the Kshatriya. Suppose any person, the Brahmana, in the Gunas are like the Sudras, no Sudra will accept a Brahman child after that as a Sudras, in a group of Sudras or for services.
Yeah, so we have to understand, so which yuga are you talking about? Because in every yuga, this Varnashram system is coming down. Okay, we saw in the beginning of chapter 4 also how Krishna is saying that this message was lost and he's re-speaking it to re-establish the principles of religion. So to some extent, this system is, the religiosity was 100% in Satya Yuga. Then in Treta, it is 75%. So 25% somewhere the system has got little corrupted. Then in Dwapara Yuga, 50% the system has got corrupted. So when the social system does not allow you to accept, or people don't accept, or there is opposition, is because to that extent, the system has become a little corrupted. Because Krishna himself says, no, in the beginning of chapter 4, that this knowledge has been lost. So
Perfect.
The system is like this. But if some people not accepted under some circumstances, that's because somewhere there is some corruption. Somewhere people are not following it 100%.
No, my question was only that there was any some sort of a system or some sort of a committee, some sort of a judges who were in that type of selecting this boy is born in the Brahmin family but is act like a Sudra, so he should go for the Sudra's work, he should go for that type of.
No,
it is
he
nothing
will not
like
go.
that.
No, he will not go for that work. Naturally, he is doing that kind of work. By nature, he is doing that. He is not going for. There is no committee that decides.
No, he's showing that type of Sudra's type of characters, but he's a Brahman son. He's going to teach the things, but his acts are like a Sudras,
Yeah, like Ravan. No, Ravan was born to a Brahmin. His father was a great Brahmin. but he was deemed demoniac by nature, so his activities also were demoniac, and he was accepted as a demon.
Yeah, he was accepted as a demon, of course, but he was a Brahmin, Miss Brahmin, basically, no?
Yeah, but he's not worshipped as a Brahmin. No, we don't worship. Do we have deities of Ravan and we are worshipping as a Brahmin? No, he's always seen as a demon only.
Yeah, it's
Correct.
okay. That's right. Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, I want to wish Disha. Disha, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
I wish you a very, 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 very happy birthday, Disha. Today is her birthday. I got to know
Thank
this morning.
you.
Happy
Thank you
birthday.
so much. I
Our
appreciate
wishes
it.
also, Disha. Many
Thank
happy
you.
returns of the day.
Thank you
Happy
guys. I
birthday.
appreciate it.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Disha.
Virtual
Thank you.
cake, virtual sweet. You can have,
So blessed to have heard the Gita on my birthday. Thank you.
Okay.
You also can offer us a piece of cake virtual.
Yeah, virtual. Yeah, COVID times, it's all only virtual. So Disha was my student when she was in school. She and her sister, they would come to me for learning the Gita, and I know her since then. And today, she's working and she still continues to learn the Gita. So I always have a very special relationship with my students, and especially when they come to me since their school times, as school students, then it's even more special. So I'm very glad that Disha is continuing in her quest for knowledge, and she's with us today, joining us from Boston. Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Okay, and we have to welcome also, we have Vinisha Magnani, who is joining us for the first time. Are you there, Vinisha?
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us. And then we have, do we have Darba Mukherjee? She was supposed to join us today. Is she there? No, she is not there. So she is Jayita's sister. Jayita, your sister didn't join us today?
No, ma'am.
Mukherjee
Okay.
means Mayapur section, Bengalis.
Yes.
Bengalis belongs to that area of the principal of our Hare Krishna temple, Mayapur.
Yes. Mayapur is the birthplace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yes.
Okay, so hopefully next time she will be able to join us. And there was another one who was to join us today, Varsha Ulmani, but she's not joined us. So let's hope that we can see them for the next time. Okay, so what else do we have to discuss? I have received the answer sheets from very few of you. I hope that in the upcoming days before the 20th, which is the last day for submission, I can get your answer papers. And nobody, so far, those who have submitted, nobody has got full marks. The closest is 79, which...
You have prepared very complicated question.
Yeah, now we are progressing. Now we have gone to chapter 4.
And another problem is the B and D. If it is none of that or all of that, that type of questions, it's really need some skill,
Yes. That's why we have to read the purpose scrutinizingly.
Yes. It's a tricky paper, but then you read, you get the answer right.
Correct. Yes, correct. So far, the highest scorer is only Jayita. She has got 79 out of 80. And now we have to see if anybody can beat that score. Okay, let's see if anybody can get full marks.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. That is only the way.
Okay. Okay, what else do we have to discuss?
Thank you very much. It was a nice, pleasant class and a lot of complicated knowledge we have got today.
Yeah, a lot of technical knowledge. Up to chapter 6, there are a lot of technicalities that we have to deal with.
Yes. Still, our skill is not in order. Maybe after 1 hour, it will be.
Yeah. Okay. All right then. Take care, everybody. Thank you very much for joining.
Yep.
Have a nice week.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Mother.
Mother.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.